Okay, so we're going to start very shortly. This is me flashing the slides. There we go. Maybe get your attention. Getting ready. Actually, I better hit the record button when I remember. That one. There we go. Okay, so I am recording tonight's presentation, so don't say or type anything revealing or sensitive or something that you don't want the entire world to know, because obviously the show is going out to the entire world. Everybody in the whole universe is watching this tonight. So let's just check the audio is coming out, because that's always my big worry. Okay, so I am recording tonight's presentation. Yep, that seems good. Okay. So I think we're live on the tube, on the YouTubes. Wow. Okay. So as I say, you can leave me a comment in the chat window on YouTube. Okay. Also, I don't need to be the only one presenting on this show. If you want to co-present with me or take a slot or just generally appear in front of the world, then just message me on the fan page, which is Project Smile or Project Smile MF, and I will send you a host link where you can join me live and go out to the entire world, which is quite exciting, really. So that's that. So I'm going to keep checking back here to see if you've left me any comments. Hang on, can't spell now. Okay. I think that'll come out. Okay. Yeah, I did have a nice little thing there a minute ago, but that seems to have gone. But anyway, never mind. Okay, so I guess we're on. We're a minute in. Yeah, so let's do this. Right, that says it's working, I think. I checked the audio. It's not flashing, which I'd like it to do. But anyway, that's fine. So I think we're going out. It says I'm recording it. It says I'm on YouTube and I can hear it. So I think we're in business. Okay, so welcome to Beautiful Community, show number 6. Today is Monday. And last week and on Friday, I left you with most of the ideal working at home infrastructure. And to be honest, it was pretty amazing. It's more than I've ever seen anywhere else about how to have an ideal environment and an ideal time working at home. Okay, and I didn't quite finish it because there's a little bit more to go. But I think I'm going to divert myself a little bit here because I don't think you're getting it. I don't think you're getting it because I'm seeing lots of comments like stuck at home. Okay, stuck at home and trying not to go stir crazy. And worst of all, I think really, to be honest, is people. Let me just get that in. Following the news. Okay, now I honestly don't think you need to spend your hours, certainly your daytime working hours, following the news. Because here's a giveaway. It's bad. It's nothing but bad news, and a lot of it is conjecture and hype and guessing and sensationalism. And honestly, it doesn't help. It just doesn't help. It doesn't help. It doesn't help to know how other people are suffering. It just doesn't help. Nothing we can particularly do about it. Obviously, we know globally we need to try and do something about it. But, in terms of you and your day at home, it doesn't help. And, people finding funny things to say about the bad news, again, doesn't help. So this is where we're going wrong, in my opinion, because you're focusing on the wrong thing, basically. You're focusing on the bad news, and not surprisingly, you're not to blame as such, except that you're watching the bad news. You're focusing on the wrong thing, so not surprisingly, you're doing the wrong thing, and you're feeling bad. And if you don't want to feel bad, then don't do that. Right? And that's why I don't think you're getting the working at home thing properly. So let's try and sort that out now. So, as I say, the comments like stuck at home, stir crazy and stuff is probably because you're following the news and, posting, funny things about the news, and basically focusing on the wrong thing is going to make you feel bad. So what should we be focusing on? Okay, so I started this show basically because this opportunity, and I call it an opportunity because you're not going to have, you've never had more time, to think about stuff. And the point, as I say, is you're thinking about the wrong stuff. You've never had more time, to focus on what's important to you. And I started this show because I had that wake-up call, and I needed to know what was important to me. And as I say, I'm not getting morbid about it, but if I died, but I'm not being morbid about it, if I died, what would my legacy be? Okay, in other words, there's a I don't know what we call it, not saying, but anyway, there's a thing which says basically, if you wind forward, okay, till you're 80 years old, and you look back, what would you regret not have doing, really? And it sounds cliche, and I guess maybe it is, but it's a great question because maybe legacy's too grand for you, but if you look, if you go to 80 years old and you look back, and sorry, if you are already 8 years old, if you go forward to 150, or actually let's float the boat out, go forward to 200 years old, okay, and you look back, what would you regret not having done? Okay, it's easy to regret things that we have done, things we've said, or things we haven't said. Well, actually, things we haven't said is kind of what we're getting to, but things that we can easy to regret what we've done. But if you look back from 80 years old or 200 years old, what would you regret not having done? Okay, so for instance, if you hadn't spent time with somebody, if you've got relations abroad, and they've immigrated or something, and you haven't seen them for years and years, what would you do? Or maybe you had an old school friend that you've lost contact with, maybe a decade ago. And would you regret dying or looking back when you're 8 years old and going, I wish I had followed them up and tried to find them? Okay, because it's possible to find them, but if you're not trying, then you're certainly not going to. They're not suddenly going to knock at your door because you'll have moved, and they won't know how to find you either. So it requires people to try to do stuff. But but this is a great question, I think, is what would you look back at when you're 200 years old, and what would you regret of not having done? Okay, so I'm looking for live chat comments and I'm not seeing any. That could be a technical hitch, or it could be because you're all asleep or all still in bed under the duvet. But when you do see this, this was the moment when you were supposed to, interact with me. Anyway, so I'm just going to tell you, because, you're not telling me yours. I'm going to tell you, some of mine. Okay. So, looking back at 80, my regrets. Okay. So one, is, I already, know that it's going to be, I'm going to regret that I didn't look after my health more. Okay, so I could lose a bit of weight, for instance, and I could be much physically fitter, and I could have a muscle on my arm, which I don't really have at the moment, and I could just generally feel, brighter and healthier, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and there's no real excuse for this. Okay, because if I know that now, I could actually do something about it. Okay, and I don't know why I don't. But there's no excuse for it. So, if that's something that I, can actually, truthfully be honest with myself and go, no, I am going to regret this. Then I need to, and this is the point. This is the whole problem. You need to choose, okay? Because the great myth is people say the word make time. I couldn't make time to do that, or there isn't enough time, to do that, or whatever. And we can't make time, okay? We cannot make time, okay? It's not something. We're not time lords. We can't, physically create it. So all we can actually do, really, and I know this sounds a bit stupid, but it's absolutely spot on. All we can really do is to choose what we do not do so that we do what we want to do instead. Okay? And that's the point. It's a choice. Okay? If you're going to sit on the couch watching TV as a couch potato, you're going to stay in bed under the duvet all day, then that's what you're choosing to do with your time. And then you've got no right to complain that you're not doing the things you want to do. And you can't complain that life's not knocking on the door and giving you everything you wanted because you're making no effort. The great thing about the law of attraction, which everybody or most people normally conveniently forget, is that it's also, you've got to be ready to accept the universe, but you've also got to take action. Okay? So even in law of attraction, you're supposed to take action. You not just be ready, for everything to fall on your plate. It's to take action. And, and a lot of law of attraction is actually based in science with reticular activated vision. Okay, which in other words is if you're looking for an opportunity, you find it. Okay, or as what Henry Ford is supposed to have said. I didn't hear him say it personally. It could be the sort of thing he said. Is whatever you believe is true. Okay, so if you believe that you're never going to make anything of yourself, that's almost not 99% sure what's going to happen. But if you believe you can make something of yourself, then it's very likely that will happen. Because basically when we make this decision, when we focus, when we choose, so choosing basically equals focus, and then focus equals opportunity and action. Okay, so I guess we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, but this is all related to to the point I'm trying to make. Okay, so we can't make time; we have to choose. So what we choose to do is what we do. So when you look back, 80 years old or 200 years old, whatever it is, and you regret something, it's because you didn't choose to use your time to do that. Okay, so we can't have everything. That's the problem. There isn't enough time. There isn't enough life to have everything. So we have to choose. And the trouble with society and the amount of options available to us and everything's instant gratification and all that, we never bother to choose to go deeper and actually do what actually matters to us. So, as I say, this opportunity was a wake up call for me to decide, what was important to me. Okay, and it's the same thing should be for you. You should be deciding what's important to you. Okay, so let me just. Oh, it did go in there. Okay, sorry. Okay, so as I say, my ones, and you can put your ones in the chat or whatever if you want to. I am going to regret my health. Okay, I am going to regret my legacy. So I'm one of those bizarre people who thinks about my legacy, and basically I want to leave, basically some emotions which are probably going to take the form of stories, and those stories may take the format of songs. But I'm also tending to get into manga comics now, into games, and into actual stories and films and animations and that kind of thing. But basically they're all about leaving emotional stories of some sort. A song is an emotional story. The thing I like most about songs is that people can interpret them exactly however they want. So it doesn't matter what I was thinking about when I wrote it. It's whatever they think it means when they listen to it. Okay, and a game might seem a strange idea that it can tell a story, but I'm basically making you live like a book, really, because in my book I have characters and they do things, and you make the choices about what they're going to do in the game, but they're basically versions of my choices, and you pick the one that you like the most, and then whatever it is I think that choice meant, that's what the game will do. That's the journey it will take you on. So games in particular are about taking you on a journey, and the way that you interact and the way the characters are. To me, it's all telling a story. So I'm going to regret not doing more of that, and I know the main obstacle in my way about that is, like everyone else, I don't want to, I don't want to fail. Okay? And that's a bad, negative, self-talk word, because it isn't, failing. But that's, the kind of thing that we put in our, in our own way. And, I don't want to be, judged. I don't want people to, hate what I do. I don't want to look a fool. Okay. But, what I've come to learn, basically is that there are, 20% of your audience, will like what you do. Okay. We can argue about the figures. It's probably a lot less than 20% in my case. But, but the point is that the 80% of people will not like, anything I do, no matter what I do. Okay? Just on, principle or whatever, or because my hair parting's the wrong way, they just won't like, what I do, or they don't like that particular style of music or something or other. So, the key to life really is to find the 20% of people who do like you and what you do. Okay, and it's the same with relationships and everything. There's a load of partners who wouldn't consider you at all, even if you were the last person on earth. And it doesn't matter what you do, you're never really going to be able to change that. So, the best thing is to not really worry about them and find the 20% of people who, do like what you do. You're looking for your soulmate. You're looking for the person who does want to be with you. Okay, there's no point chasing after people who don't want to be with you when there are people out there who do want to be with you. So, that's basically the secret of, what's going on. So, generally, if something isn't working, it's because you're telling the wrong people. Okay? You're hanging out with the wrong people. You're telling the wrong people. You're trying to impress the wrong people. You're trying to impress the wrong people with the wrong thing, or maybe it's the right people with the wrong thing. But whatever the combination is. And so my biggest failing, because of all of that, is, it's not being shy. It's being, afraid. To be honest, so I'm afraid to tell people what I do. Okay? But in order to make it in this legacy business where I'm leaving stories and games and stuff, I have to tell people what I do. Okay? And so that's going to be my big regret, is that I didn't take the chance, or I didn't take the opportunity to tell people. Okay, and that's the big thing. So I'm kind of creating the stuff for myself. So it's not that I'm not creating it, although that could be another one. Okay, so not choosing to spend my time creating what I want to create. But then, as I say, the other big regret that I'm going to have if I do spend the time to create the stuff is not telling, and it's going to be the right people, what I do. Okay? And that's going to be the big thing. And so, as I say, this opportunity was a wake up call, to do that. What is it that I want to, tell people? So, I could, instead of telling stories, because it's easier to make money out of it, to be honest, is that I could train people. And I enjoy teaching, but train people to do what? And there's kind of popular stuff I know how to teach, but it's not really my passion. So what I really want to do is I want to teach people certain stuff. I want to teach people, things that are my passion. Okay, so I have to choose. Okay, so I have to choose. Do I go down the kind of the easier money route, or do I hold out and struggle and do what and choose what matters to me? Okay, well, logically, the good money or the wise money would be on the money. Okay, but this opportunity, I could be dead tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, probably in 7 days' time. So now what is important? Okay, because I'm not going to have to pay my credit cards back if I'm dead. So, what have I got to lose? Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting that we all be cavalier and, shirk our responsibilities and get into debt and stuff like that. But, this is the other big thing. Okay, and I don't know if I can explain it. Let's hope I can. So I don't really know what to call it. I'm going to call it the wrong decision for the moment. It's not actually what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so there's a big thing, or there seems to be a big thing, that people have. This is where people are. That's a horrible colour. Oh, hang on. I also spelled that wrong, apparently. That's probably American. But anyway, whatever. This is where, you are today. Yeah, right, there we go. Okay, this is where you are today. And this is your big, crazy dream. It might not be crazy. I probably shouldn't call it anyway. But so, just for effect, I'm going to call it crazy. Your big, crazy dream. Okay? And most people, or a lot of people, seem to see all the obstacles that are in their way of getting to their big dream. And there are always going to be obstacles. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Okay, that you see these obstacles, and in fact, maybe we'll make them, steps or something like that. Okay, and you see, that it's going to be, not instant gratification to get there. Okay, let's get an arrow. Hopefully you see where I'm going with this already. So people see, these obstacles, and they think, well, it's never going to happen, so I'm going to give up. And I think that's really sad. I mean, it might be true, but as Henry Ford said, whatever you believe is the truth. So you're only assuming that you can't do it because of the information you have right now and the resources and everything you have right now. And you don't know, what resources you can have because you haven't tried. Okay, so they give up. Okay, now I can't guarantee you anything, but what I can guarantee you is that if you don't try, if you give up, how should we do this? This is exactly how much of your dream you will have lived, 0%. In other words, if you don't try, you're not going to get anything. It's not possible. And the chances of somebody knocking on your door and going, "Oh, let me grant you a wish," I think this is what you've always wanted to do. Here it is on a plate. Okay, the chances of that happening, as far as I know, it's never happened to me anyway, is zero. So you have a 0% chance of experiencing 0% of your dream. Okay, and you'll die and look back, 200 years old, and go, "Yeah, I never got that. I never had the life I wanted to have." Okay, so guess what? Can you guess? What I'm suggesting, that's a cough, you see. That's why I might be dead in 7 days. Anyway, let's not focus on that. That's the point. Okay, there's no point focusing on that. Because again, if I give up now and don't try, then I'll certainly, I'll get what you're going to get, which is 0% of 0%. So, guess what happens if we try? How can I draw this? Okay, so if we try, let's do it. Let's try another path. Let's do it that way. Let's make it a green arrow. Do you like the green idea of the green arrow? This is green for go. So if we try another path, and we hit a roadblock. Even if we hit a roadblock and that was as far as we could get, that might be. We don't know how to lay this out. Let's put that up there. Even that might be, 2% of 20%. Okay, so it's not a lot, but it's something. And for that time, you've experienced what you wanted to do and you know what it feels like. But I suggest to you that something crazy will happen. As you try, at some point, if you keep trying, I know it's a pain, but if you keep trying, I put it to you that you will make it to the next level. Okay? And now, maybe we're getting 20% of 40%. Okay, which is starting to be something. Okay? But then I'm going to put it to you that again, something crazy will happen. Because you've got to that stage, I'm not saying that this isn't going to take work, and I'm not saying that it's going to be seamless. Okay, I'm not making any promises at all. But I put it to you that if you try, you might get to the next stage, or a long, long way to the next stage, but maybe all the way. Okay, so it could be 100% of 100%. Could be. I can't promise, but it could be. But the point is, if you don't try, it's certainly not going to happen. Okay, but what's likely to happen? Okay, because maybe your dream is too big. Okay, maybe it's not a realistic, practical goal with the resources that you're going to put behind it. If you're going to put more resources behind it, then it could happen. But the point is that we're all scared little puppies and we don't want to go all in. But if you went all in, okay, then maybe you would get it. Okay, but most people are too afraid to go all in because it's scary. It's damn scary because is this the one thing that you want to go all in for? Or is there something else that you'd rather go all in for? Now you're not sure if that's even your passion now. Okay, so we always put all these stupid things in our way. Okay, and that's the problem. Let me just check that I'm still going out. Where are we? Yeah, I think we're still going out. Yeah, let me just check. Whoops, sorry, I should have checked the comments. Do you feel me? I don't know why I wrote that. Anyway, but you see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? But what's likely to happen, okay, is that you're going to get, and we can, I don't know what the figures will be, but you might get 80% of 80%. Okay? And that might not seem like a lot. It may not seem like enough. Okay? But it's 80% of the way there, and you got 80% of the way towards it. So I don't know what the math of that is. But, it's something like 60% or something. And the point is do you want to have experienced, do you want to be able to tell your grandchildren about the 60% that you did achieve? Or would you just give up and not even try? Because, life is basically, experiences. And this is another really important point. So this is actually from, another kind of Reiki thing. But, life is about experiences. Okay? Life is not really, actually at all, about goals. Okay. And what do I mean by that? So what I mean is if that you have, if your life ambition, let me just color that up for no particular reason. Okay. So if your lifelong goal, okay, is to climb this mountain, okay, and maybe it takes you 10, 20 years to do it, but then, you do it, okay, then what? Do you die? Do you just, go, well, I've done everything. I'll give up now. I'll die. I've achieved my life goal. I'm done. Okay. Or do we accept the human condition and go, well, heck, I climbed that mountain. There's a bigger mountain over here. I want to go that way. I want to try for that one. And, and following the human condition again. And you've climbed that mountain. Do you give up and die? Or do you suddenly go, there are these big mountains underwater. So instead of going up to the clouds, now I want to go down to the center of the earth. Okay, but the point is, doesn't matter what the thing is, but the point is there's always another, or there should always be another goal. Okay, there should always be another goal. Okay, because we don't give up and die when we've finished a goal. Okay, when you finish one project at work, you don't leave the job. They give you another project. Okay, and that's kind of the way it should happen. And like, when your children are growing up, it's not that you lose your children when they become 16. It's they become, mini adults, and then there's a whole new journey. Okay, and then they get, married at 20 or 30, and there's another new journey for you to share with them. And then, they, get to 50, and then there's another whole new journey for you to follow. And then they retire, and then there's another whole journey to follow. And then they get grandchildren, and then you're a great grand whatever. And then there's another journey. So, it's always about, there's something, more to come. Okay. But the thing about what we say in Reiki is to enjoy the journey. Okay. Because it's the journey that actually matters. Okay. Arriving doesn't really matter. I mean, you have to arrive somewhere at some point, and, it's good that you arrive, but it wasn't the point. The point was, did you have fun? Did you enjoy the experience? Did you have an experience of getting there? Because really, the secret of life, I believe, is this. It's the journey. Okay, it's not getting to the top. It's the whole experience of, getting there. And, again, with the next journey, same thing. It's not, did you get to the top of the mountain? It's, what was the experience of getting to the top like? Okay, and the same thing, when we come back down again. Okay, and usually, I mean, quite often, I'm a bit of a loner, so it's difficult for me to say, but normally it's about who you share these journeys with. Okay, that's what makes them unique and special, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so as well as the thing, it's about who. And who you're with when all this happens, that's part of the journey. That's part of the experience. And it might just be, who you meet along the way. Maybe you don't know them. And the other, great thing about this is, we may well not know them. Okay, we don't know who we don't know yet. We haven't met them. So, it could be new people we will meet. And maybe we'll know them for a long time. Maybe we'll know them for a short time. But this is really, the thing. Now, let's get back on track. So that's kind of the meaning of life and the universe and everything. Okay. Oh, what happened there? Um, there we are. So that's the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Okay. And I could put all sorts of religious things in there, and the teachings of Abraham and all sorts of things and stuff. But generally, a lot of kind of guru masters, agree or say that it's about the journey. It's about your experiences. It's about who you meet along the way. Okay, it's not about finishing one goal. It's kind of it's a moderately universal thought. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say now. Bum 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 bum. Yes, so sorry. So that's the meaning of the life, the universe, and everything. So let's get back on to track. So basically, what the heck does "I'm stuck at home" mean? I mean, seriously, what on earth are you people talking about? Okay, because we're saying that you know kind of life journey, if you like, whatever we want to call it, is about it's about the journey, which is really kind of the actions that you take, okay, and it's about who you do that with, okay. And if you're at home, you're supposed to be with people that you love and who love you, and etc. etc. So why wouldn't they be the people that you spend time with or want to spend time with? But even if they're not, let me do that. Even if they're not, completely for everything on every level, what you were, hoping for, when we're not, we might be physically stuck at home, but we're not digitally stuck at home. Does that make sense? So, there's nothing. I mean, literally nothing, because it could even be free. So it's not even money. You're digitally free to voice people, to bring them up. You're digitally free to do video webcam calls. All you need is a webcam. If you've got a phone, you've got a phone in that. You've got talk time and all those modern fancy things. I'm old, so I'm being grumpy about that. But you're digitally free to do that. And you can share the same experiences and dreams and wishes and plans for the future, because this isn't going to last forever. The storm is going to end. Okay? Put that in again, because that's probably the most important thing that I'm here to remind you about. Okay? And that is the storm is going to end. It's going to run out of water at some stage. Okay? There's never been in the history of the universe a storm that has never ended. Okay? It just not happened. There's never been a plague which has killed all the people for all of the time, so that there were never any more people. Okay? It's always ended. Okay? I mean, it's a huge shame and everything that, X number of people died, but there's never been, a plague where everybody died and there was nobody left. Okay? And, you can focus on the guess, and it's a really bad guess, that you'll be the one who's going to die. But it's a really bad guess, because survival rate is huge. We don't know who's going to die, who isn't, until they're actually dead. So when you're actually dead, then fine, you can tell me that I was wrong. But in 3 months' time, if you're not dead, then I was right. And the point is do you want to waste those 3 months? Literally waste 3 months of your life on a what if? Okay, I certainly don't. But there's no point in living a life on what ifs. Okay, so you're not stuck at home. You're somewhere, and that somewhere happens to be home. Okay, and the good news is you're alive, and the even better news is you're probably going to stay alive. Okay, so you're somewhere, happens to be at home, and the the really great news is you're alive. Okay, and the other great news is you can still share what matters to you with people who matter to you. And if there's some weird thing at the moment where you can't ring them because they've lost their phone or something, then at some point when the storm is over, you'll be able to get back in contact with them. Or if you try now to get hold of them, there's a chance that you will. If you don't try to get hold of them, then I can almost guarantee you that you will not get hold of them. Okay, and this is the choice that we have to make now. Still a red one. This is the choice we have to make now. As I say, we can't have everything. Okay? It's not possible. We're not going to live, long enough. Even if we live to 200, it's not enough time. Okay, so we have to choose what what is important to us, and this is a time when you can work that out, and then this is the time when you can do something about it. Because as I say, even if we can only get a certain amount of the way, I think that's better than having no experience at all. There's that old adage of what is it? Love lost is better than to have never loved at all, or whatever that thing is. And it's a controversial saying because it's painful when you lose love, and it's hard to think would it have been better to have avoided that at all? But generally, I think the answer to that is no. It's better to have to experienced it, and certainly in terms of Reiki philosophy, it's about the journey. Okay, and the journey is that you had some time together with your soulmate, somebody who really mattered to you. Okay, and we either take that or we take nothing. And I don't think you want to take nothing. Okay, I really don't think that. Okay, so now we kind of got that out of the way. Hopefully you're agreeing with me that we're on the same page, and you think that something is better than nothing. Okay, and as I say, if I'm right, and you put if you went all in, you could probably have whatever you wanted. Okay, within reason, but also all in is a big commitment. It's more than most people are willing to do. So if you're not prepared to go all in, why do you think you're entitled to have exactly everything that you want? What we're going to get out of it is going to be proportional to what we put into it. It's just the way life works, really. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, because the more you put in, the more you get out, and that's a fair exchange. That makes the I don't want to say the struggle, it makes the effort worth it. Okay. Um, and, just because you happen to be at home, you're somewhere, and the good news is you're alive. Just because you're somewhere and it happens to be at home doesn't mean that we can't do these things, and or that we can plan these things, that we can imagine these things. Okay. And there is a point to imagining things. I'm not saying you have to settle for imagining it, but I'm saying, being able to imagine it is better than not being able to imagine it. Okay. So at this point, okay, I'm going to still talk about me again because you're not telling me, um, about you. Um, as I've told you already, my, big goal basically, my legacy is, to leave these stories in all the formats I told you about before. Okay. And in an ideal world, okay, in an ideal world, um, in fact, it's not actually how I'm wired, but some people want to be super famous, super rich, and super appreciated. Okay, and the super appreciated is probably, you mean, it's probably the more important one, because the number one thing is we all want to make a difference. Okay, we want to be remembered, we want to be respected, we want to be appreciated, and we want to be noticed. Nobody wants to not be noticed. Okay. So, in an ideal world, I'm super famous, super rich, and super appreciated. Okay. And, what do we mean by, super? Maybe we're talking about, in the millions. So millions of people know me. I've got millions of money, and millions of people appreciate me for what I do. Okay. In an ideal world. Do I need millions? Not really. To be honest, I'd be happy with one, really. But, being a little less sad than that, 100 would probably be enough. 1,000 would certainly be enough. And 10,000 would be more than enough. I can't even name, more than 1,000 people. So 10,000 people would be amazing. Okay? And I don't need millions. I probably just need a few tens of thousands. Okay? But the most important thing is that, of all those, however many, let's say it's 1,000 people, let's say it's 2,500 people, for a reason I'll come to in a minute. Of all those 2,000 people, they appreciate me. Okay, now is that enough for me? Yes, it is, because there's 2,500 people. That's more people than I can name. And I'm, as a single person, okay, I'm making 2,500 people happier in some way, or more content or fulfilled, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to call it happier, or you could call it entertained, whatever you want to do it. And can I entertain them, 24 hours, 24/7? No, I can't. I'm not that talented. I'm one person. I can never be that talented. But what if I can give them, 1 minute per day? Well, that's not brilliant, but it's at least it's 1 minute per day. Maybe I can get that up to 1 hour per day. Maybe they can have memories and think back fondly, and I can create memorabilia kind of moments in their subconscious, and maybe it can be more than 1 hour per day. Okay, maybe I can only do 1 hour per week. I don't know. Okay, but the point is that is it's something. Okay, and if I, as a single individual, can even make somebody happier for 1 hour per week or per month or whatever it is, or even honestly, I'd even take a lifetime. So if I can give them 1 hour of, happiness in a lifetime, then I'm very, very content that I've kind of done my job, that my legacy is worth being out there. Okay. Now that's very different from, thinking that I need millions and millions of fans and millions of dollars. I don't. Okay. Now here's the scary thing. Getting 2,500 fans is actually easy, or moderately easy. It's not super easy. But it's moderately easy. Okay. And, I won't go into all the business things about that at the moment, but, just bear in mind that, it's very possible to get, 3,000 views on a video of some sort for $10 on places like, Facebook and YouTube. And you can probably even do that, maybe even, well, it's not really going to be free on social media, but, because you're going to have to pay in time or something. But, you can get, a significant number of views on what you're doing for a very small amount of money. Okay. If you haven't got $10 now, that's fine. Save up. Okay. In 3 months' time, you'll have $10 and then you can do this. Okay. But, that's not going to give you, 2,500 fans. So we have to rinse and repeat. Okay. So, okay, the budget's gone up now, but, there's no time limit on this. Okay. If this takes you, a year, it takes you 2 years. Does it really matter? No. Because the point is, if this is your dream, this is my dream, this is what I most want to do in the whole of my life, is to leave my legacy, to make 2,500 people's lives better, then can I wait 2-3 years to do this? Yes. I've waited several decades already as it is. So, what did I write no for? Okay, because this is my legacy. This is my, my big dream. Okay, and I can have it. Okay? I don't need millions. I need about 2,500 people. Can I get my stuff, my stories in front of 2,500 people for some amount of money that I can afford or save up to afford? Yes. Okay, is that worth doing? Yes. Should I hide under the duvet and think, oh, well, I'll never make it at the big time, I'll give up? No. Okay? That's what I hope I'm inspiring you to do as well. You just have to work out what your, big dream is. And maybe it isn't, a big single dream. Maybe it's back to, simply being able to choose. Okay, hang on, there we go. So maybe, your big idea, dream life, whatever you want to call it, okay, is to be able to choose who you spend your time with and doing what. Okay? And, light bulb moment, you're somewhere, you have to be at home. Okay? And you have all these digital ways to reach these people and probably share, and do the things you're talking about. Okay? Lots of things are able to do, remotely, but, even if you're just sharing the plans and, visualizing them or, remembering, things or, learning to do this or practicing, or breaking it down into chunks. like if you want to go skiing, up the mountains or something, you can, dry ski in your living room, because you need to practice not falling off, that sort of thing. So when you chunk it down, okay, then, there are lots of things you can do now, and they're all, essential for the big, for the bigger goal down the road. Essential down the road. Okay, so you're not stuck at home. Let's not be stupid about this. You are in a place, it happens to be home, and you can still reach, these people, and you can still do, in at least some format, what you want to do. Okay, so let's stop the I'm stuck at home, oh pity me, kind of crap. Let's get with the plan. Okay, and the plan is, I'm going to end here now. This is an opportunity. Okay, as I say, you probably never really pretty much going to have, this amount of time to focus and work out and then do, what you most want to do, and to work out, what's important to you and who is important to you, and do it. And it could well be that you haven't even met the who yet. Okay, so be prepared that you haven't even met the who you want to be with, bit yet, and that's coming. Okay, and and to make that a reality, we have to, practice living the life that we want. Okay, so that's it. Let's see if there's any final questions come in. I don't think there is. You can leave comments and over time. As I say, if you want to appear on the show with me, just send me a message, and I'm say that word. Send me a messenger message on the fan page at Project Smile or Project Smile MF, and I can get you a co-hosting slot. Anyway, so I hope that's been interesting. God, I've gone over what I wanted to do. But I thought this was important because this is key, to what's going on. So, you're not stuck at home and you're not going to go stir crazy. Okay. It's simply about, what I've said. Okay. Which is to work out what's important to you and to find a way to do it and who to do it with and how to find those people if you don't know them already. Okay. So that's it. I shall see you next time. What have I done there? Oh, that's that thing. And this is me signing off. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.